You up there in Carson City?
Yes, sir, Governor, ready to go.
Steve is there. All right. Well, let's call to order the Nevada Department of Transportation Board of Directors meeting scheduled for today, October 9th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. And we will open up the agenda with item number one, roll call. Jeff?
Good morning. Governor Joe Lombardo.
Present.
Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony.
Here.
Controller Andy Matthews.
Here.
Member Virginia Valentine.
Here.
Member Stephen Esquaga.
Here.
Member Justin Kalb.
Here.
And Member Gary Perea.
Here.
Governor, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 2, public comment. The first public comment is limited to comments on the items on the agenda. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under public comment period unless the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an action item. I will impose a 3-minute time limit for each individual on public comment. Do we have any public comment there in Carson City?
No, Governor, not for the first public comment period.
We have any here? Las Vegas? Do we have anything, anybody online or via phone?
No, sir.
All right, we will close the first public comment section and move on to agenda item number 3 and receive the director's report. Darren, are you doing that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I'll be presenting the director's report today. We're going to get it up on the screen for you here. And we will get started with the announcement of a traffic safety award. So the 2023 Traffic Safety Summit Project of the Year was selected as the Wadsworth Walking Trail. The Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe and NDOT collaborated on a multi-use path with crossing improvements along 447 near Natchez Elementary School on the Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe Reservation in Wadsworth. State Route 447 bisects Wadsworth Community, and Natchez Elementary School sits along the state route. The tribe sought a grant to improve the stretch of highway and obtained $500,000 for pedestrian improvements. Recognizing that this was not enough to fund a complete project, they approached NDOT and we engaged in a partnership. NDOT supplemented the project with Highway Safety Improvement Program funds. The project included pedestrian activated rapid rectangular flashing beacons, speed feedback signs in the school zone, upgraded crosswalk lighting to current standards, construction of a shared use asphalt path with ADA compliant ramps, upgraded signage to current standards, and striping and pavement markings to current standards. This is completed just before the 2022 school year. The tribe reports that the new community members are getting out and using the trail because there's safe multimodal access in their community. This also helped many vulnerable road users. They've also observed that both local and visitor traffic is more likely to observe the posted speed limit of 25 miles an hour, improving safety for all users. Next, update on the Centennial Bowl, the final phase. The substantial completion is scheduled this fall. A new westbound movement of CC 215 is pictured on top. That's expected to open to traffic in the next month. New westbound CC 215 movement will also be opened in a different direction this fall. Project includes several new surface street connections and multi-use trails. This is the final phase of the project undertaking, which the total of all the phases is nearly $500 million, and 16 years worth of work has finally been completed. Ribbon cutting ceremony is planned for December 4th. More details and invitations to follow. Next, an update on our emergency projects down south. Kyle and Lee Canyons at Mount Charleston remain closed to visitors due to ongoing repair activity in the area. Many popular trails at Mount Charleston sustained extensive damage from the August storm. Carpenter Canyon and Wallace Canyon roads remain inaccessible due to significant flooding washouts. And the aftermath of the storm, NDOT identified extensive damage in 43 different locations along these critical roadways. Among the most notable challenges was a 900-foot section of State Route 157 that was completely washed out. Repairs on 157 and 156 are nearly complete. Road closures remain in place due to hazardous conditions in the area. NDOT's cooperating with Clark County and the Forest Service to do our best to balance the desire to open the mountain with the safety of the visitors and the residents. For updates on response and recovery efforts on Mount Charleston, the public is encouraged to visit gomountcharleston.com. State Route 158 connects 157 and 156 about halfway up the mountain. Also known as Deer Creek Road, you see suffered significant damage near the Mahogany Grove campground. An emergency contract to repair that road was opened on October 2nd. Goal is to have the road reopened by the winter season. This road, for obvious reasons, will remain closed until all the repairs are complete. Now, an update on the US 54. Yes, sir.
Derek, before you move forward on that, Governor Lombardo, for the record, you may not have the answer to the question, but what is the status of the fire station in the library?
I do not have that status, but we can get it for you, and we'll report it to you and the board members.
Jeff, do you know?
I don't know. Do you know more?
Virginia? Any idea? Okay, yeah, if you wouldn't mind
Yeah, no problem.
giving all the directors an update.
Yep. So next update on the Highway 50 corridor study. The online public survey ended September 30th. We received 1,931 results or entries into the survey and combined over 3,000 individual comments. As you can see on the screen, these responses and comments mainly came from residents of Lake Tahoe, along with other users of the road from Washoe, Douglas, Carson, and El Dorado counties. The survey was open to all in consideration of all users of the roadway, both those that live locally and those that travel the road for business or otherwise. This input is in addition to the approximately 1,500 elements of public feedback we've already received over the previous 2-year study period. Currently, we're compiling all the data, reviewing the comments received. We'll report a summary of the results to the board members in November. All the results and comments will be included in the final corridor study. The results of the survey and the previous outreach will be factored into the recommendations, which will be a part of the completed corridor study. Public will have an opportunity to review and comment on the final draft of the corridor study in December. A last public meeting will be held to answer questions on the draft final report. This meeting is anticipated to be held in January. While we have been talking about the corridor study, we also have been talking about the pavement preservation project, which is under design. This upcoming project will resurface the existing road from State Line to Spooner Summit. It will address drainage issues and replace guardrail and barrier rail where needed. It will include wider striping and permanent speed feedback signs. It does not include any lane reductions. That project will advertise before the end of the year and construction will start in May. Next, an update on winter maintenance preparation. As you've heard us say, we have winter storm operations in all 3 districts. As I mentioned, Mount Charleston will have the road repaired and repaved and start plowing snow off of it pretty soon, hopefully. So last winter saw record levels of precipitation in northern Nevada. Our maintenance team performs nearly 75 different types of work throughout the year, including incident response, roadway patching and repairs, drainage and slope enhancements, and snow and ice removal. Right now, maintenance workers are prepping snow plows and other pieces of snow ice removal equipment and stockpiling salt and sand for better winter roadway traction. Thanks to our maintenance staff, many of whom are doing the work of 2 to 3 people to make sure we all stay safe and connected on winter highways. And thank you to the governor for the executive order regarding minimum qualifications and auto progression. This will definitely help NDOT fill many of our vacant positions and give some of our current workers an additional incentive to stay with the department. I have 3 announcements for public hearings. The first of them will be a virtual public meeting for NDOT's Transportation Emission Reduction Program. The virtual meeting dates, as you can see, are October 18th through November 1st. Per federal requirements, we're developing a carbon reduction strategy. The strategy must be submitted to the Federal Highway Administration in November. This requirement is paired with a new category of federal funding, which was included in the bipartisan infrastructure law. The plan will have strategies, projects, and performance metrics to reduce transportation emissions. We want to hear what's most important to Nevadans as a part of the plan. If anyone is interested, please log on to the website on the screen. Second, NDOT will host an online public meeting followed by an in-person public meeting to gather input on improvements coming to I-80 east of Reno. This widening project is between Vista Boulevard and USA Parkway. Projects in the environmental or NEPA phase. In addition to adding lanes, existing interstate bridges will be widened or replaced. Roadway shoulders will be widened, and interchange improvements and other enhancements will be made to improve traffic mobility and safety. The in-person meeting is taking place November 7th at the Lockwood Community Center from 4 to 7 p.m. And the website is available for the virtual meeting at i80eastnv.com.
Hey, Darren.
Yes, sir.
Governor Lombardo for the record. On the shoulder improvement on the I-80, what is the improvement? In order to travel on the shoulder or just to make it wider? Similar to what you did to I-15 south.
Right.
To relieve traffic.
Yes, sir. If we do widening of those shoulders, we do have the legislation available that in certain areas we could run transit on shoulders. Yes, that would be possible depending on the outcome and the alternative selected for this project.
Okay.
But to your point, the project for running regular traffic on I-15 south, that's actually south of the state line into California, that is an option that we could look at also. Yes.
But not all of it. We did a mile of it, right?
The mile that we widened is general purpose lanes that are open to traffic at all times. That general purpose lane runs into California and then tapers off of their shoulder during non-peak traffic times. So technically it's only in California that they're using the shoulder running.
And when are they planning on opening that for availability?
Jeff can confirm, but they've been using that for about a month, I believe. Is that right, Jeff?
Yes, for the record, Jeff LaRude, Deputy Director. They've been using it for about a month now, and right now they have static signs in place that allow them to run in the shoulders from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. on Sundays and Mondays. Their master plan is early, probably in the springtime, to put cantilever signs over the shoulders, and then they'll be able to dynamically say that the shoulder's open to use for general purpose traffic.
But that's only for 4 miles.
Correct, all the way to the ag station.
Okay.
Okay, last public meeting announcement. This one's for the US 395 Southern Sierra Corridor Study. NDOT is gathering public feedback to develop a vision and action plan for potential future highway improvements along 395 between East Clearview Drive and Southern Carson City and the Nevada-California border at Topaz Lake. The online public meeting runs from October 23rd through November 22nd. There'll be 2 opportunities to participate in person on November 6th and November 8th. For more information, including the meeting locations, visit ndot.us395.com. Update on some construction in that particular corridor. We recently launched construction of a year-long project to reconstruct and repave 2 miles of US 395 through downtown Gardnerville in Douglas County. The improvements will include minor drainage and sidewalk and curb and gutter improvements, with major highway reconstruction scheduled to launch in spring of 2024. The highway was last fully repaved in 2003. This project will make a smoother and safer drive for about 20,000 people who travel that road daily. Second phase of improvements in the future years will include additional sidewalk and accessibility improvements, as well as remaining roadway drainage, signals, and lighting enhancements. Lastly, we would like to recognize 2 of our most recent 19 NDOT retirees from the last quarter. First, Kenneth Green, retired on June 1st as a highway maintenance supervisor in Reno. He started with NDOT in the Tonopah subdistrict, transferred to Reno, promoted to Supervisor 1 on Crew 231 in Fernley. He had the opportunity to work on the Burning Man event regularly in his career after promotion to Super 1. He's a super hard worker, loves playing in the dirt with big equipment, and is a great equipment operator trainer. He took his time training others, caringly passing on his knowledge and experiences to new team members. And secondly, Julie Martinez, retired June 30th from our admin services group. Julie started with the state in 1993, working in several other agencies in the education system. She came to NDOT in October of 2017, joining our administrative services division until her retirement in June of 2023. She was a great asset to the department, specializing in requests for proposals and agreements. Julie helped many NDOT people to procure consultant help and other resources. We congratulate these 2 and the many others on their retirement, and we thank them for their service. Governor, we'd like to take a quick break to take pictures, if you don't mind, and then I'll be glad to answer any questions from the board.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll be right back with you. Aaron, you bring yours. We got to back up.
You got your big.
Ready to post up there.
You have a big poster up there. I'll get it from there.
You should have it.
No, I'll get it from Michelle Flores. She had one made of me.
She did.
Yeah, because I didn't cover those. No, she put it in the seat next to it.
Oh, there's the bait. That's
No show Joe. She's just doing her judge thing now.
Congratulations. You're good. Get your cup. You good? Congratulations. Governor, I'm ready to answer any questions about the director's report. Ready to answer questions, Governor, if there are any.
Was Kenneth, did he get his picture taken too? Huh? Yes. I didn't see it.
Yeah, we're
Hey, Ted, do you mind reading what the plaque said? We can't see what the plaque was.
Sure. We have from our sign shop the specialty plaques made for our retirees or miniature street signs. So the plaque says, "Welcome to retirement." This one says Kenneth Green, 2023, 33 years.
Awesome.
Well,
Did hey Ted, just off, I guess you can't be off the record because we're on the record, but what's Kenneth and Julie plan on doing with the rest of their lives? Do they want to say?
Julie says she's had 2 vacations already. And Kenneth says, Kenneth is going to come back and work for us to plow snow because of our shortage. We very much appreciate that.
Is that an emergency fill?
If needed, yes.
All right. Well, congratulations, both of you, on your retirement, and thank you for your service. All right, are you, any questions of Mr. Tedford by any of the board members? On the director's report? Hearing none, seeing none, we will close agenda item number 3 and move to 4, consideration of approval of the September 11th, 2023 Nevada Department of Transportation Board of Directors meeting minutes. Is there any concerns by any board members before we entertain a motion?
Move for approval. Stavros Anthony.
All right. We have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Nay? Hearing none, motion passes. And we will move on to the consent agenda. All matters in this section are considered by the Transportation Board of Directors to be routine and may be acted upon in one motion unless a board member requests that an item be taken separately. Is there any board members that wish to take any item separately? All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Stavros Anthony, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items 5 through 9.
I can't recall on this board. Do we need a second, Jeff? We do? All right. I didn't get a second on the minutes. So hold on. We're going to back up a minute. So let's reopen agenda item number 4. I didn't get a second on the motion to approve the minutes. So Ms. Valentine, you were?
I'll second.
Oh, you're second. All right, we have a second. Once again, let's have a vote on the meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? Hearing none, motion passes. We will return to the consent agenda, and we have a motion on the table. Can we repeat the motion, please?
Motion to approve the consent agenda items 5 through 9. Stavros Anthony.
Second?
Second, Board Member Squaga.
All right, we have a second. All those in favor of the motion on the table signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? Hearing none, motion passes. All right. We will close section 2, move to section 3. Items taken separately from the consent agenda. There was none, so we will close 3 and move to section 4, additional business items. Agenda item number 10. Mr. Tedford.
Governor, there's no need for an executive session today.
Okay, we will close item 10 and move to 11, the second opportunity for public comment. A period devoted to comments by the general public on matters relevant to the board's jurisdiction will be held. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment in Carson City?
Yes, Governor, we do. If you have public comment, please line up at the podium. And Governor, additionally, we have 9 public comments that were submitted either before Friday at 4 p.m. or anything that is included today we'll include in the minutes and make sure the board members get them. We have our first public commenter up here.
All right, just for...
Governor, this is Gary Perea. May I make a comment before we open that up for the public?
Sure.
I would like to say a few words on some of the public comments that were made at the last meeting on September 11th. I was disappointed to hear the comments attacking members of this board and the NDOT employees over the issues involving the Highway 50 corridor around Lake Tahoe. Most people believe that there are some dangerous issues on that stretch of highway that need to be addressed. The problem is how to tackle these issues and what changes need to be made. The only way we're going to solve these problems is with the open and honest conversations and the open exchange of ideas, not by attacking and vilifying each other. In the future, if there is someone who chooses to use their right for public comment who cannot be respectful or polite, I would suggest that they need to be asked to sit down and their public comments ended. I would like to ask that we use courteous language and avoid insults, name calling, and personal attacks. We have some real issues with that corridor, and we need to try and solve them together. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate those comments. This is for the record, Governor Lombardo, and I do agree with your assessment of those public comments provided. Darren, you've mentioned 9 Public comments were submitted via email, is that correct?
Yes, 9 total, so 5
Okay.
sent to your email on Friday
All right.
and 4 more we've received.
All right, that was the question. I didn't know if it was split up in that way. So we have 4 additional from what we have already received, correct? All right, we'll move forward with public comment there in Carson City.
Good morning, Ellie Waller, Douglas County resident. Thank you for bringing forth. We all need to be mindful of each other. Many of us that utilize the corridor still do not believe that the plan is as good as it can be. We do need to work some more together. I'd like to thank Darren for other questions he's answered from me recently about getting information on the corridor when there is temporary work going on. I know that now today have been alerted that the website has been updated for the 511. Yes, I'm criticizing the plan. Nobody in general, because it's unrealistic and shows a belief that things can be improved much more than I believe and many others that utilize is possible with a lane reduction. Understanding that there'll be no lane reduction with future striping is great. We hope that that will remain the final outcome. I'm imploring you as members of the NDOT board, the decision makers, to have staff revisit what I believe is flawed and can easily be the next Maui or Paradise tragedy. Evacuation modeling and analysis should be completed along with the plan that was not presented to the public in any Wood Rogers consultant documentation. I believe that the regional transportation plan, the Tahoe Transportation District plans from the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency also do not take in consideration many of the issues that the public has brought forth at several meetings. I'm including my 11-page comment with some of those plans, links to those plans for your review again. This was back in November of 2022. NDOT staff and the consultants have been given a unique opportunity to work with the public, and we hope we can continue to do that. As a side note, Governor, why haven't you replaced the Sisolak appointee to the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency? It is your right to represent the state of Nevada through an appointment. Thank you.
Dana Tibbetts. I'm from Cave Rock. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address public in the public comments. I feel that some of what comes across as very strong language is often because of the frustration we feel up at the lake that our voices are not being heard. And a lot of frustration because there is a lot at stake for us with this evacuation, our evacuation route. I believe that this time would be well used to create a serious model and simulation that actually demonstrates what you've promised to the people up there of safety. And I think that our definitions of safety may be different, but we really have to see how this would work in fact. And it seems to me that the assets and the infrastructure you have should enable you to provide something of that nature to prove what you are proposing. The frustration we have is significant. We had a lot of public comments, over 1,500, I believe you have in hand, and we received many of those. Having gone through those in detail, I can tell you that 87% of the people who addressed lane numbers in those comments said no to 2 lanes and yes to 4 lanes. So then we have a whole survey that comes after to cast a broad net to skim the surface of comments based on very little information or input according to the specifics of what you're proposing. Everybody wants safety. None of us are saying there is nothing to do, just leave our road alone. We have been asking for safety modifications for years, and there are many that I believe could improve our situation on Highway 50 without removing 2 lanes. Thank you.
For the record, Phil Schloss, State Line. I do have a lot to say, but I'm going to start with the bottom because I think you need an analogy of what reducing our lanes to road diet is really like. It's like going on your favorite airline, and they have already announced they're going to demonstrate the safety of their flights with only one pilot. And the flight you are taking has been selected as a demonstration flight. So the question I think you need to ask yourself, are you going to get on board, or are you going to pass and take it out another time? And then ticket agent is going to try and reassure you that the FAA has told them it's safe for you to do so. So in my mind, that's what you're telling us, that the road diet engineers are telling us residents that this is going to be safe to do so, and don't worry because our engineers have it all figured out. When the fact is they don't have it all figured out, they just think so. And my own personal opinion is, how many surveys have you had? How many times have we residents said no to your road diet? When does no mean no to you? So it seems to me, it's unbelievable to me how callous, how hard of hearing the NDOT Board of Directors and the NDOT Division of Road Diets are to the residents that live along the Highway 50 fire escape heavy snow buffer corridor. And here we are again today to urge you to just say no to the NDOT Division of Road Diets, which you control, for instilling this corridor to save the expense of building a separate pedestrian bike lane. And with regard to the survey that went out of our area, they were just outsiders. They have no skin in the game. They don't have a $2 million to $20 million home, pets, personal items going up in flames and on TV, and they can watch all this happening on TV as if they're watching a hockey game in our event center. That's not skin in the game. They're just observers, and that's it. And then if that happens, well, they just go to another road diet to go do their biking there. They don't have to stay up here to do that. So to me, it's obvious the real safety issue of road diet is an incident that prevent the emergency responders from getting to the $2 to $20 million homes that are up in flames, treating the victims of smoke inhalation and its effect on the expedition resident and vacationer evacuations. So eventually, I'm thinking that pressure from the outside bike associations, from outsider TARPA and outsider Nevada TARPA, outsider NDOT Division of Road Diet, since they don't live up there, to steal a lane so outsiders and vacationists can have a pedestrian bike lane that also would serve as a value-added attraction to the casinos and other members of the Douglas County Visitors Authority. And of course, the NDOT Division of Road Diets has given flawed surveys ad nauseum, cherry-picked and manipulated the data until they get the results to apparently increase the noise of speed reduction as rationale for road diet, making it harder for the NDOT Board of Directors to just say no. To us, this means that speed reduction of Highway 50 road diet outweighs the $2 million to $20 million homes, pets, irreplaceable personal items going up in flames. How very callous to be thinking this way. For your time.
Morning, Elizabeth Learnhardt, Zephyr Cove. Can you hear me? Is this on? Anyway.
Yeah, we hear you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Governor, Board of Trustees, it's been a whole year since I've been coming here and all these other people to plead with you to put this on the agenda and discuss this openly, rather than having it as a public comment as an add-on. So this is my actual comment. Lake Tahoe has been subject of exploitation since its discovery in the 1840s. The logger barons clear-cut its old grove trees to supply wood to the Comstock. For commercial overfishing and the extinction of the native fish, the destination tourism followed by the individual mass tourist by car, they all have used the natural beauty to extract financial gains from the lake. They did all this according to the prevailing zeitgeist in the name of progress. Now the bicyclist, e-bicycle manufacturers, and their supporters have decided it is their turn to monetize Lake Tahoe. They declared that their economic benefit is equivalent with the environmental well-being of the lake. Yet what these special interest groups want is nothing short of the exploitation like in the past. Rather than preserving the natural beauty, they plan to blast a half-tunnel bike trail into the granite above Emerald Bay. They ignore the sensitive breeding grounds for rare birds in Meeks Bay because it's in the way of their bike path. TRPA will push its high-density town centers and ugly high-rise building, believing this is going to decrease vehicle miles traveled, either by forcing the public to use a bicycle or by luring us to use the falsely perceived safer bike paths. Their plans are to create Amsterdam at the lake. Please take the blinders off and see them for what they truly are. A minority forcing the rest of us to submit to their short-sighted and infantile desires. Stop the Highway 50 lane reduction. Do not fall for the planet-saving claims of anti-motorist movement that also joined their choir. Complete roads, road diets, traffic helmets are just a few of their euphemisms. They have no scientific facts behind them, nor do the claims that less lanes are safer. It's the opposite. Or bicyclists are safer on separate lanes. They aren't. After all, hasn't science established that dinosaurs went extinct because they refused to relinquish their internal combustion engines? Really? Thank you.
Governor Lombardo, members of the board, my name is William Cobb. My family has been at Marla Bay Pine Wild for close to 50 years. And a little matter of historical interest, my grandfather, Will Cobb, used to drive the V&T stage line, bus line from, this in the 20s and 30s, from Virginia City to Carson to Glenbrook, and then on to Zephyr Cove, Bijou, and Camp Richardson. There was nothing at state line, so they didn't stop there. But that was a one-lane road, and he drove his bus over that wooden bridge that we all have seen the remnants of. Well, my purpose here is not to give you the Cobb family history, although I hope you indulge myself on that, but I am speaking in favor of that corridor. The speed lane reduction, it would only affect 35% of the corridor, and I think there's a projection of a 20 to 50% reduction in traffic accidents. I and my family have been fortunate to avoid the near misses when trying to do a left turn on Highway 50 into Marla Bay. I start putting on my brake lights back beyond the Bourne property or whatever it's called these days, and trying to alert the cars behind me. And it's not so much the car behind me. My concern is the car behind me who doesn't see that intention to make the turn. I know this is going to result in some time constraints for people traveling on that roadway, but I think the benefits of road safety certainly outweigh that objection. With that, I thank you for your time, Governor, and the board members.
Governor, that's it up here.
All right, thank you. Do we have anybody here in Las Vegas for public comment? Do we have anybody on phone? All right, we will close the second opportunity for public comment and move for adjournment. I'll entertain a motion.
Stavros Anthony, move for adjourn.
A second.
Second.
Andy Matthews for a second. We are adjourned. I don't have to take a vote.